hybrids or the sick?
Get ready to dive into Netflix's most anticipated new releases. From epic fantasies and chilling horrors to quirky comedies and intense dramas, we're breaking down the top shows everyone's talking about. Whether it's the mythic battles of Twilight of the Grey, the spine-tingling alien encounters of Parasite The Grey, or the quirky adventures in Delicious in Dungeon, there's something for every binge watcher. Join us as we explore these unforgettable stories, character-driven dramas, and jaw-dropping visual effects. Buckle up. This season's lineup promises thrills, twists, and a lot to talk about.
The only question that remains, who will be left alive to tell this one?
Twilight of the Gods.
Eagle, scale the fish and make ready a meal.
Yes, my master.
It may seem like a common phrase to say everyone sees themselves as the hero of their own story, but Twilight of the Gods masterfully brings this concept to life in a way that feels fresh and captivating. The characters are richly developed, and their motivations are revealed with incredible depth as the series unfolds. Each individual's thirst for power and violence is explored in ways that keep the audience hooked, while their relationships with the world and each other shift with every episode. From the very start, the stakes are high as our heroine declares her intention to kill Thor, a bold promise that sets the tone for an epic journey. With Zack Snyder at the helm, viewers are eagerly waiting to see how this ambitious storyline will reach its explosive conclusion.
I am Thor, and I want blood!
Parasite The Grey. Parasite.
인간은 우리에 대한 연구를 하고 우리를 쫓고.
The Grey brings an intense and chilling sci-fi horror experience where alien parasites invade Earth, taking control of human bodies. These deadly creatures not only kill their human hosts, but are able to mimic them, though with much less emotion, making them terrifyingly unpredictable. Even more disturbing is their ability to shapeshift their heads into grotesque, deadly forms. The show centers around John Soni's character, a grocery store employee whose life changes after a violent encounter with a drunk customer during the invasion. She finds herself in an unexpected and dangerous symbiotic relationship with one of the parasites that now inhabits her body. Although the parasite can't fully control her mind, its presence sets off a series of events that pull her deeper into a fight for survival. With the support of Koo Kyo-hwan's character, a low-level criminal, and a friend in the police force, played by Kwon Hae-hyo, they navigate the chaos while staying out of the reach of the Grey Team Task Force, led by the determined Choi Jun-kyung, Lee Jung-hyun. The show is packed with action, suspense, and visually stunning effects, particularly when it comes to the head shape-shifting scenes that never fail to leave an impact. Parasite The Grey is a gripping live-action adaptation that brings intense thrills, making it one of Netflix's standout offerings. Just like in all of Yeon's productions, Parasite The Grey absolutely excels in the visual effects department, especially when it comes to the jaw-dropping head transformations. It's a visual spectacle that the show revisits throughout the series, and for good reason. It never fails to amaze. Watching heads morph into monstrous tentacles never gets old, and adds to the eerie, unsettling vibe of the series. But it's not just the visuals that stand out. The cast is fully committed, delivering strong performances that keep you invested in the story from start to finish. Combine that with a fast-paced, gripping narrative, and Parasite The Grey easily becomes one of Netflix's best live-action manga adaptations. This show manages to bring both thrilling action and horrifying moments to the screen in a way that will leave viewers on the edge of their seats.
인간의 머리를 빼앗아 버립니다.
Delicious in Dungeon.
魔物を食べるってこと？
こうなったら
是が非でも味が知りたい。
俺は絶対食わないからな。
完成じゃ。
Delicious in Dungeon starts off light and fun, with a group of adventurous characters descending into a dungeon, cooking up some of the monsters they encounter along the way. It feels almost episodic at first, with the plucky team battling their way through new creatures and turning them into unique gourmet meals. But don't let the quirky premise fool you. Things get much more intense as they venture deeper into the dungeon. Midway through the season, the plot takes a sharp, chilling turn, raising the stakes dramatically. Suddenly, what seemed like a simple adventure transforms into one of the most gripping and thrilling fantasy stories you'll come across. The show's world building is incredibly detailed, immersing you in its intricate fantasy setting. Each character is well developed and compelling, drawing you further into their journey with every episode. But what really stands out, even with all the fantasy action, intense battles, and emotional backstories, is the heart of the show, the power of sharing a meal with friends. It brings a sense of warmth and connection, even amidst all the chaos, reminding us that food and camaraderie can bring people together in the most unexpected and dangerous places. It's a truly unique mix of heart-pounding adventure and heartfelt moments that makes Delicious in Dungeon a must-watch.
おいしい。
バカにして悪かったな。
気にするな。ただ通りすがっただけ。
わからん。
Sweet Tooth Season 3.
Can't shake the feeling that something's closing in.
Netflix's Sweet Tooth kicks off with a strikingly original premise, introducing us to Gus, a boy who is part deer, as he embarks on a perilous journey with his tough and protective guardian, Big Man. Their mission: to find Gus's mother, navigating through an expansive post-apocalyptic wilderness. This isn't your typical dystopian world. Society has been brought to its knees by two catastrophic events: a deadly plague known as the Sick, and a bizarre shift in human reproduction where children are born as animal-human hybrids. It's a setting that immediately captures your imagination and sets the tone for a unique, visually striking tale. What sets Sweet Tooth apart is its ability to balance contrasting tones, dark yet hopeful, eerie yet heartwarming. The show creates an otherworldly fable that feels like something out of a dream, yet it remains grounded in very real emotions. It's a family-friendly series that somehow manages to tackle the weighty subject of a global pandemic while giving us characters that are deeply lovable, all with a whimsical touch that brings to mind the magic of the creature shop. Now, with this third and final season, the story reaches its conclusion. We see the show digging deeper into questions of survival and morality, wrapping up this Americana-laced fairy tale with a poignant look at how society responds to a sense of cultural collapse. What happens when we're faced with the potential downfall of everything we know? And how do we cope with our own role in that destruction? Sweet Tooth delivers a satisfying, thought-provoking end to a story that has blended fantasy with an undercurrent of reflection on the world we live in. A must-watch for anyone looking for more than just another post-apocalyptic drama. Bodkin
of the dead.
Samhain.
So cool.
Bodkin takes a refreshingly unique approach to the true crime genre, setting itself apart from the endless stream of podcasts and shows that promise to uncover the real story. At first glance, it seems to follow the familiar formula. A group of journalists from The Guardian head to the small, eerie Irish town of Bodkin to investigate the re-emergence of a festival shrouded in mystery. But in a clever twist, the show doesn't focus on the typical cliches of the genre. Instead, it uses the murder mystery setup as a backdrop for something much more intriguing. The characters bring their own quirks to the table. Gilbert, played by Will Forte, is eager to tell a touching story, full of the kind of emotional tropes you'd expect from a podcast like this, while Emmy, Robin Cara, is driven by her ambition to make a name for herself, and Dove, Siobhan Cullen, just wants to get the assignment over with. Their differing motivations lead to a series of wild, often humorous adventures as they dig deeper into the town's secrets. What makes Bodkin stand out is how it explores the unexpected twists that occur when everyone's trying to hide the truth, and how that truth has a way of surfacing in the most unexpected ways. The show doesn't dwell too much on the oversaturated true crime boom, acknowledging it without being stuck in it. Instead, it smartly shifts its focus to the fascinating journey of its characters and the unpredictable nature of their discoveries. Bodkin is equal parts funny, thought-provoking, and filled with a sense of adventure that keeps you hooked. The show isn't just chasing the next big story, it's creating one of its own. If you're looking for something that plays with the genre in clever ways, this is the show to watch.
21 years ago, 3 people disappeared.
Girls, 5 Eva Season 3.
Don't you know about your stellar? We were on TV!
Netflix breathed new life into the Peacock comedy, and we couldn't be more grateful. In this revival, an early 2000s one-hit wonder girl group makes a comeback in their 40s, and the result? Pure comedic gold. The show strikes a perfect balance between nostalgia and modern humor, as the four women dive headfirst into the chaotic world of the music industry once again, while also managing the everyday realities of adulthood like PTA meetings and relationship drama. The humor is spot on, filled with clever pop culture parodies that will have you laughing out loud from start to finish. And let's not forget the music. It's incredibly catchy, with tunes that will have you humming along long after the episode ends. The show manages to weave humor, heart, and music together effortlessly, creating a feel-good experience that keeps you coming back for more. Once you watch a few episodes, don't be surprised if that theme song gets stuck in your head for days. This revival is a must-watch, bringing back the energy of the early Hunts while adding a fresh, contemporary twist that resonates with today's audiences. If you're looking for something lighthearted, hilarious, and full of catchy tunes, this series delivers on every front.
We are four women with greatness in us. We are proof that it is never too late to follow your dreams.
The Gentlemen.
Now, I can't be specific about the heroes and zeros.
This marks the second time Guy Ritchie has ventured into the world of television spin-offs from his iconic gangster movies, the first being 2000's Lock, Stock, a Channel 4 production that featured a pre-The Office Martin Freeman and a pre-Game of Thrones Nikolai Coster-Waldau. However, while the Gentleman film did fairly well at the box office and earned its fan base, it doesn't quite reach the same high bar as Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, or some of Ritchie's other celebrated works. That being said, Ritchie has been on an impressive streak recently, delivering hit after hit. Wrath of Man and The Covenant stand out as some of the best films in his catalog, while Operation Fortune, Ruse de Guerre, and The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare are both wildly entertaining, packed with the signature mix of action and humor we've come to expect from him. So, while Netflix's The Gentleman series might not be on the same level as these movies, it's still a notable improvement over the film, thanks in large part to its charismatic cast and entertaining narrative. The show kicks off when former Army Captain Edward Horniman, played by Theo James of Divergent and The White Lotus, unexpectedly inherits his late father's massive estate and the title of Duke of Halstead, much to the surprise of both Edward and his older brother Freddie, Daniel Ings. But the real twist comes when they discover that their father had secretly made a deal with a criminal empire, allowing their land to be used to grow weed. This forces Edward into a complex and dangerous partnership with the cunning gangster Susie Glass, portrayed brilliantly by Kaya Scodelario of Maze Runner and Crawl fame. James and Scodelario shine as the leads, bringing the right balance of charm and grit, while strong supporting performances from Giancarlo Esposito nailing his usual intense, calculating roles, and Vinnie Jones playing against type add to the fun. The result is a series that's thoroughly Guy Ritchie, slick, fast-paced, and packed with that uniquely entertaining blend of crime and humor. If you're a fan of Ritchie's work, this series is definitely worth a watch.
Our antagonist explodes on the scene like a millennial firework.
John Mulaney presents Everybody's in LA.
You're probably thinking, you keep hearing us say LA. What do we mean by LA? Well, in many ways, we mean Los Angeles.
In a time when many talk shows have started to feel predictable and bland, Everybody's in LA stands out as something completely different, refreshingly odd, playful, and wonderfully unique. Hosted by the ever-talented John Mulaney, the show at first feels like it might be part of a bigger plan, maybe something Mulaney could use to launch into a late-night hosting gig, or perhaps even Netflix's attempt to dive deeper into live programming. But what makes Everybody's in LA work is that it doesn't rely on any of those expectations. It creates its own space, a show that embraces its quirks, going in directions you never see coming. The show takes a hyper-focused look at Los Angeles, using the city as a springboard to dive into fascinating people and their surroundings. While LA is always the backdrop, Everybody's in LA doesn't limit itself. Instead, it uses the city as a canvas for wild curveballs, unexpected guests, out-of-left-field segments, and moments that are just plain strange, in the best way possible. The unpredictability of the show is one of its strongest aspects. It keeps you on your toes, unsure of what will happen next, and that's exactly why it's so engaging. Mulaney's sharp humor combined with this bizarre structure creates a fresh, almost experimental take on the talk show format. You never quite know where it's headed, and that's what makes it so fun to watch. If it's all an extended bit, it's definitely one worth diving into. And once you get a taste of it, you'll likely find yourself wanting more.
Marijuana's legal in like 18 or 19 states in some form or another. It's insane. Yeah, well, all right, don't woo if you're white. It's always been legal for us. Come on, sir.
Dead Boy Detective. Dead Boy Detectives is a supernatural procedural that's filled with quirky charm and plenty of unique standout moments. The show dives into a world where almost anything is possible, including a walrus-turned-man who owns a curio store, a cat boy who's hilariously awkward around his crush, and even a pair of tiny foul-mouthed characters who live inside a jar. Oh, and let's not forget about the hot goth butcher, because yes, that's a thing too. With all these colorful personalities, the show brings a fresh and vibrant energy to the screen. At the core of it all, the series follows two titular dead boys as they find themselves in Port Townsend, Washington. Alongside their psychic friend, they dive into solving all sorts of supernatural mysteries, giving the show a thrilling and eerie edge. The dark, spooky moments are balanced out perfectly by the humorous interactions and the undeniable chemistry between the characters. What really makes Dead Boy Detectives stand out is the heart behind the story. While it has its fair share of creepy, spine-tingling moments, it also manages to bring in plenty of laughs, keeping things light and entertaining when needed. The bond between the characters is strong, which adds an emotional layer to the show and keeps viewers hooked. It's the mix of the bizarre, the heartwarming, and the chilling that makes this show truly special. If you're looking for something that blends the supernatural with quirky humor, Dead Boy Detectives definitely delivers.
It's a technicality.
Sorry, I've got to take you to hell.
Masters of the Universe Revolution.
Even for kings it comes. You will have to make a choice.
Kevin Smith's Masters of the Universe Revolution is a loving tribute to the classic 1980s He-Man cartoon, but with a modern twist that makes it both nostalgic and fresh. What really stands out in Smith's continuation is how he strikes a perfect balance between honoring the action figure origins of the show and not taking it too seriously. He doesn't shy away from the over-the-top campiness and heavy metal vibes of the original characters. Instead, he leans into it and celebrates everything fans loved about the franchise. Smith's approach is unique because while he keeps the spirit of the show intact, he's not afraid to rework the lore when it suits the story. It's clear that Masters of the Universe isn't about sticking to rigid continuity. Instead, it's all about ramping up the action, increasing the stakes, and constantly evolving the characters into bigger, cooler, and more powerful forms. This makes every episode feel like a high-energy, exciting ride. The magic of Masters of the Universe Revolution is in its ability to tap into that childlike wonder of what's next, while still being self-aware enough to play with its own absurdity. With phrases like, "by the power of Grayskull," it doesn't just bring back memories, it empowers every character to step into their own moment of glory. It's fun, fast-paced, and full of iconic moments that will make both longtime fans and newcomers excited for more. In Smith's hands, Masters of the Universe becomes a celebration of the continual evolution of power, creativity, and imagination, making it a standout addition to Netflix's lineup of animated shows.
On the throne of Eternals. Time for a revolution.
Physical 100 Underground Watching. Physical 100 is like getting a front row seat to the ultimate test of human endurance, where you quickly shift from being an amazed viewer to an armchair expert. As you watch these intense competitions unfold, it's easy to catch yourself critiquing every grip, hold, and strategy, even though you know deep down you'd never attempt anything like this. Still, that's part of the fun. The thrill of watching from the safety of your couch while these athletes push their limits in ways that leave you in awe. Physical 100 delivers all the adrenaline-pumping excitement you crave from a top-tier reality competition show. It pulls you in with gripping narratives, fascinating personalities, and jaw-dropping physical feats that whittle down the contestants in displays of sheer strength and endurance. Each episode is packed with tension and drama as competitors face off in grueling challenges, making it impossible to look away. And while I know I'll never be in one of these competitions, the appeal of Physical 100 is undeniable. It's the kind of show that keeps you coming back for more, episode after episode. I'd easily watch another 10 seasons of this high-energy, muscle-packed action. If you love seeing people push their bodies to the limit and thrive under pressure, Physical 100 is exactly the kind of show that will keep you hooked. Bring on the next round of competitors. The Brother's Son.
Mom?
The Brother's Son on Netflix was a fun, genre-blending series that sadly didn't get the chance to fully shine, as it was cancelled after just one season. It's one of those shows that felt like it was just about to hit its stride, and you can't help but wonder what the follow-up seasons could have been like. Instead, we're left with the one season that gave us a lot of promise, but also a few inconsistencies along the way. At its core, this Brother's Son is a culture clash comedy centered around two brothers with very different lives. Bruce, played by Samsung Lee, is an aspiring improv comedian, while his brother Charles, Justin Chen, is an infamous gangster. Separated as children when their mother, Michelle Yeoh, moved Bruce to the US, their paths cross again in Los Angeles when Charles arrives with shocking news. Their father survived an assassination attempt. The dynamic between the brothers makes for an engaging and fun clash of personalities, and Justin Chen in particular gives a standout performance. His portrayal of Charles is a real breakout moment, one that in a perfect world would have catapulted him into bigger A-list action roles. Though the show has some issues with overwritten dialogue, it more than makes up for it with stylish direction and some truly epic and often silly fight scenes that are among the best on TV. It's the kind of show that could have had a bright future with just a bit more polish. But as it stands, The Brother's Son offers a wild, entertaining ride that's well worth watching, even if we're left wanting more.
You could have told me that.
We were trying to keep you safe.
Yeah, nice fucking work.
3. Body Problem.
Something insane, but true.
For years, the names Benioff and Weiss have been synonymous with the divisive end of Game of Thrones, but Netflix's 3 Body Problem is proof that when these two get solid source material, they can deliver captivating television. Adapted from Cixin Liu's internationally acclaimed science fiction novel trilogy, Remembrance of Earth's Past, this series takes us on a thrilling journey into an epic story of first contact with an advanced alien civilization. 3. Body Problem brings a diverse set of characters face to face with a terrifying discovery that an alien race is planning to invade Earth. These aliens, traveling across space for 400 years, have a calculated strategy to halt humanity's scientific progress before launching their conquest. The stakes couldn't be higher, as the show weaves together the future of humanity with critical moments in modern Chinese history. This series doesn't just tackle complex ideas, it also offers breathtaking visuals and one of the best portrayals of a fictional video game on screen. It's the kind of mind-bending sci-fi that keeps you on the edge of your seat, reminding viewers why Benioff and Weiss are still powerhouses in the world of TV when they're working with material that truly resonates. 3 Body Problem promises to be a must-watch for fans of epic, thought-provoking science fiction.
They are coming.
Who are they?
Baby Reindeer, Richard Gadd's autobiographical series Baby Reindeer, dives into his real-life experience as a struggling comedian dealing with the psychological toll of being stalked. While the show has sparked significant controversy, it remains an intense, raw exploration of obsession, boundaries, and personal accountability. The controversy surrounding the series escalated when fans, with unsettling irony, tracked down the real-life person behind the fictionalized character, Martha. This raised important questions about how well the production handled the privacy and safety of those involved. However, the controversy doesn't overshadow what makes Baby Reindeer stand out: the sheer emotional intensity and gripping narrative it offers. At the heart of the series is Jessica Gunning's compelling portrayal of Martha, capturing the tension, fear, and unpredictability of the situation. What sets the show apart is its fearless approach to addressing uncomfortable truth, blending dark comedy, tragic moments, and raw honesty. It doesn't shy away from exploring Gad's own role in the tangled, complex situation, adding layers of depth and introspection that keep viewers hooked. It's a show that makes you think, feel, and question all at once. Challenging but impossible to look away from. Baby Reindeer is an emotional roller coaster, gripping from start to finish, and it's one series that lingers with you long after the credits roll. Don't miss out on the latest binge-worthy shows. Hit that subscribe button for more deep dives, reviews, and updates on all things Netflix. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up and let us know in the comments which series you're most excited to watch. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss an episode breakdown or a new release. Happy watching!
You know I can totally hear you guys.